Good day, everybody. Welcome to Germany. And the next leg 7 of our tour of Germany. Things are going good. The weather seems to be closing in a little bit. Funny, I'm on live weather, and I looked up the MEDAR, and it's supposed to be ceiling and visibility okay. Looks like overcast to me. But, we'll see what happens. We are going up to flight level 120 or 12,000 feet, and we'll see what happens up there. But right now we got a layer of cloud, which is kind of interesting. Anyway, let's say hi to the folks that are here with us. We've got Nick and Dark Fury in the two DC-6s sitting there. Kevin had a little bit of a crash, but he's around, and he's going to hopefully join us before we get up and running. And we'll see who else joins in. But we are heading today up the coast from Hahn, where we are now, up to the northwest coast, or northwest border of Germany, I believe, with Belgium, up in Weeze. So that's where we're going to be. Let me start that. And we'll get ourselves up and running nice and quickly and into the cockpit. Just gonna set up my what am I setting up? My packs. That's what I'm setting up. Let's make sure we're all set and ready to go there. And then we'll be ready to head out on this leg. But just taking a look at some of the legs on the Pan Am flight that we're going to be doing, where we fly around the world in the DC-6. And that's going to be interesting. There's some long legs on that one. We'll see how the sim handles it. Anyway, let's hop on board. We'll start the passengers loading, and then we can discuss our flight. Alright, so we're on board the aircraft now, and start the passengers loading. So while that's happening, we'll come over here and take a look at our flight plan for today. Pull it up, and there we go. So we're down here in Hahn, just outside Frankfurt, to the west of Frankfurt and Wiesbaden. We're going to take off. We're going to fly basically westwards out to this VOR, where they're going to head north up to the next one. That was the NTM VOR, which is the Nattenheim. We're going to head northwards up towards the Norwich VOR. Then we're going to make a slight turn to the eastwards and head up to the Dusseldorf VOR. At that point, we're going to cut back across, and we're going to head to the, not the airport. So this is what I want. It's the NDB, the Niederrhein NDB, which is at the airfield. And at that point, we're going to go into doing, I don't know why this didn't stay up there. I'll pin that. But we're going to do the ILS for runway 27 at the moment based on the weather. So we're going to come into the Niederrhein beacon, make the turn to 073, come out, loop around, and pick up the ILS into Niederrhein, Germany, which is outside the town of Weeze. And oh, it's on the Holland border, not Belgium, so it's further north than I thought. So if we zoom out, you can see it's not too far away. There's the border running down here. This is Belgium down here. So we're right up here on the border, just outside Duisburg and Neuberhausen and Essen. So this is a big industrial area of Germany. So that's where we're headed. Right now we can hear the people still getting on board. So Fred's out taking care of that stuff. Roger's in place. We got all our charts. Distance for today's flight is about 154 miles, and we're estimating once we take off about 50 minutes in the air. So it should work out pretty good. It's about 108 miles direct line, as you can see on the overlay. And once again, we are flying in our Royal Canadian Air Force livery. Aircraft number 518, full serial number 17518. See what we have over here. We have Dark Fury in the BEA. British something Airways, but I'm not sure what the E stands for. And oh, is that? Maybe that's Nick. Looks like Dark Fury is flying the Easy Prop. That's his own custom livery, by the way, and available on flightsim.to. I guess Nick is the BEA. And Kevin says he's on his way back in. So he should be here very, very soon. So we're still boarding. Got about 47 passengers today.
Laptops, tablets, and any other larger electronic devices are stored once we depart. Thank you. And
funny enough, we don't use laptops or tablets in this time frame. So let's take a look at what we have today. We have our fuel load of British European Airways. Thank you, Nick. Much appreciated. We have a fuel load today of 2,516 pounds. So we can dial that in. 2,516 pounds right on the nose. We'll do a quick little calculation here. I have a payload on the sheet of 5842. We divide that by 230, that's 25 passengers today. So we're going to load in let's say 20 passengers. Let's go here. And our payload is going to be 1,000. I don't want that. 1,242, or as close as we can get it. There we go, 1,248 pounds. So we're now loaded. Our gross weight is 68,721, which is well below our limit for the wet takeoff, so we are
ready to go when you are.
So everybody is here. We can get the wheel chocks pulled. Get the cargo doors closing with the stairs lifting. We'll get the main cabin stairs pulled away. The main exit closed. And the front cabin can lock up. There we go.
Our flight time will be roughly 47 minutes. Now that the cabin door is closed, please make sure
Fred
that all
can take a
devices are in
seat. Kevin's now
airplane mode and
in.
your large
That's
devices
great.
are now shut down and stowed. Please fasten your
And
seatbelt make
Fred,
sure
you
that
can
all
do the
trays
before
tables
start
and
checks.
seatbacks are in a full upright and locked position for departure. Cabin crew, secure doors for departure.
Pre-flight.
There goes, flicking all the switches.
Completed. Voice recorder. Tasted. Oil coolers and
So we've got a few things we can enter in
position.
as we get ready to go.
Fuel and fluids. Checked. Pressurization.
So our first waypoint is the NTM VOR.
Checked. Radios.
And he's going to turn them on. There we go. And we're going to want 115.3. So we'll dial that in.
Doors and hatches.
115.3. The second VOR we're going to want is 116.2. That's now dialed in. Over here on nav 2, we're going to enter in the ILS frequency,
Out.
which is 110.7.
Removed. 3 on board. Seat belts and pedals. Adjusted.
That's now entered in. We'll switch that over. And here we're going to enter in the LAA beacon, which is
Safe to
frequency 352.
Propellers.
So we'll dial
Forward
that in.
and 3.
So 3, 5, 2.
Before start checks complete.
352 is in,
Start engines.
and we will kick that over to the active side. So when we get close, we'll pick up the beacon as well. So we'll take a quick look around. Kevin, something I had to do when I had this problem is I logged out of Xbox Live, or whatever that gaming thing is, and then logged back in, and everyone popped in, and I could see them all. So if you've got no one anywhere, and you know that you set up multiplayer, and you did, because I can see you, you might want to try doing that quick log out, log back in. It did work for me. So it looks like we're clear. Everything is good. Come down here to the wheel chocks. Wheel chocks have been removed, and we are ready to start engine. So engine 3 mixture is in auto rich. I did not want that to do that on my other screen. Definitely don't want that. Sorry, for some reason another version of OBS opened up on me. Okay, magnetos are on both. Engine selector is on number 3. Fuel pump is on low boost. We are ready to start engine number 3.
3, 6, 9, 12.
It's this side. There we go. Engine number 3 is up and running.
Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the screen for an important safety demonstration.
Alright, switches are coming off.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on board this Royal Canadian Air Force Douglas DC-6
So
aircraft.
engine number 4.
On behalf of the
Mixture
crew,
is
I ask
rich.
that you please direct your attention to the
Magnetos
cabin
are on
attendants as we
both.
review the
Engine
emergency
selector on
procedures.
4.
There are 9 emergency exits on this aircraft.
Booster
5
pump
on
is
the left
on low.
and 4 on the right.
Cranking engine 4.
Take a minute to locate the exit closest to you. Note that the nearest exit may be behind you. Count the number of rows to this exit. Should the cabin experience sudden pressure loss, stay calm and listen for instructions from the cabin crew. Oxygen masks will drop down from above your seat. Place the mask over your
There's
mouth
engine
and nose,
4.
like this. Pull the strap to tighten it. In the unlikely event of an emergency landing and evacuation, leave your carry-on items behind. In the event of a water landing, life vests are located below your
Switches are
seats
coming
and
back.
emergency lighting will lead you to your closest exit and slide. We ask that you make
Engine
sure
number
that all
2,
carry-on
mixture
luggage is
to auto
stowed away
rich.
safely during the flight. Smoking is only permitted when the no
Magnetos
smoking
on
sign is
both.
out. While we wait for takeoff,
Engine
please
selector
take
number
a moment
2.
to review the safety data
Boost
card in the
pumps
seat
on low.
pocket in front of you.
Starting 2.
3,
Mesdames et messieurs, bienvenue à bord de cet avion Douglas DC-6 de l'aviation royale canadienne. Au nom de l'équipage, je vous demande de porter
And the
votre
boost is
attention
on.
sur les agents de bord pendant que
And
nous
we've got good
examinons les
start
procédures
on
d'urgence.
engine number
Il y a 9 sorties de
2.
secours sur cet avion, 5 à gauche et 4 à droite. Prenez une minute pour localiser la sortie la plus proche de chez vous. Notez que la sortie la plus proche
Engine
peut
number
être
1,
derrière
mixture
vous.
auto rich.
Comptez le nombre de lignes jusqu'à cette sortie. Si la cabine subit une perte de pression
Magnetos
soudaine,
are on both.
restez calme et écoutez
Engine
les
selector,
instructions du
engine
personnel
number 1,
de cabine.
boost pump on low.
Les masques à oxygène tomberont
Starting
au-dessus de votre siège.
engine number
Placez le masque sur votre
One.
bouche et votre nez, comme ceci. Tirez sur la sangle pour la serrer. Dans le cas peu probable d'un atterrissage d'urgence et d'une évacuation, laissez vos bagages à main derrière vous. En cas d'amérissage, des
12.
gilets de sauvetage sont situés sous vos sièges
Boost
et un éclairage de secours
is
vous
on.
mènera à votre sortie et toboggans les plus proches. Nous vous demandons de vous assurer que tous les bagages
Engine's
à
all
main
coming
sont
back
rangés
to
en toute
idle.
sécurité pendant le volume. Fumer n'est autorisé que
So all
lorsque
4
le
engines,
panneau
we have fuel
d'interdiction de
pressure,
fumée
oil
est
pressure
éteint.
is good, temperatures
Pendant
are
que
starting
nous
to
attendons le
rise, carb air
décollage,
is
veuillez
good,
prendre un moment pour
RPMs
examiner la
are
carte
good,
de données
and
de
manifold
sécurité dans la
pressures
poche du
are all
siège devant
good.
vous. Thank you and enjoy your flight.
We've had a good start. Switches have all come off. We can do the after start checklist.
Start selected boost pumps. Off and off. Battery switch. Plane battery. Generators and inverters. Checked and on. Emergency lights. Armed. Ground power. Removed.
All right.
Start checks complete.
After start checks are done, we are ready to go. Coming off on the parking brake. We're going to swing around to the left and then we'll taxi out. We're going down to runway 03 here at Hahn. So it's more or less a straight taxi. Coming up on the power. Bring it around. Looks like everybody's started. And we're now going to taxi out down Alpha all the way to the bottom. Very dark sky out there today. So one of the legs on the around the world trip, I did it at 200 knots, which is roughly what this thing's cruise speed is. And the leg time was 9 hours. And that was only maybe 3/4 of a fuel load. So that can be a fun trip. Not sure how many legs it breaks down into, but it takes about a week. And some of the legs were multiple trips. It's going to be pretty cool because there's daytime flying, there's nighttime flying. I want to figure out the time zones and everything and how the schedule is written. But I'm looking at doing it as per the times. So there'll be night flights, day flights, shorter legs, very long legs. Could be very interesting. All right, now that we're heading down this way, we'll get them to do the before takeoff.
Boost pumps. Boost pumps on low. Fuel selector and crossfeed.
We'll just
Main tanks and crossfeed.
listen to what they're saying here.
Autopilot and carb heat. Off and cold. Hydraulic system. Down, forward, pressure and quantity checked. Okay. Flaps 20.
So I did have somebody ask me about the bungee cords. Did they really do that type of thing? And absolutely they did.
Turbine.
You can see it's on bungee cords on all four corners, and that's how it's suspended. It dampens out the vibrations.
Closed and on. Controls. Gas block released. Free. Potato. On. Mixture and cowl flaps.
So I'm also going to pay very close attention to
Bridge
the
unlocked. Set. Transponder.
JU52 that's supposed to come out with World Update 6. See how good that is. It's an interesting concept they've got going on what they're doing with it, where they're looking at basically digitizing historic aircraft, legacy aircraft that
Extended and on.
have a significant history.
Before takeoff checks complete.
So it'll be interesting to see that and see how good a job they do with it, because I would like to use that to fly around some European routes that I've got an idea for. Nick, I see no engines turning 1 and 2. Are you up and running on those engines? Because when you went by me there, 3 and 4 are spinning, but 1 and 2 aren't. I'll assume you've got them going. Obviously, Nick has a bit of a rush going to get down to the end of the runway and get up to Weeze. Probably wants to slip across the border into the Netherlands. A little bit of a party. Local weather is, our live weather is on. Local time is, we started at 10 o'clock, so it's currently about 8 minutes to 10:30, or about 22 minutes after 10 in the morning. You don't know if your engines are going, or you got no idea why it's showing me that they're not going. Okay, so when we head out of here, we're going to want a heading of 285. That's up to the next VOR. So we're just going to dial the OBS around to 285. Then once we get in the air, we should pick it up. If not, then if it's a low power one, we'll just head off at a 285 heading. We'll circle around and then head that way. So I'm going to come in on the first taxiway here on my right, which is Bravo 2. Very dark off to the southeast. Yeah, it looks like those engines aren't running. Anyway, we're ready to go. Sure Nick will get him going. We'll get ourselves lined up here. The approach path is clear. And we do have 12,500 feet to play with, so we'll be fine. Ourselves around here. There we go. And we're at a halt, so parking brake on. And we are doing a dry takeoff. If we remember our weight, which was 68687. If we go to our panel, 70,000 pounds, we can take that at that. 83 for our V1, and we're going to rotate at 95. So we are very light today. So Fred, if you would, dry takeoff please.
30 inches stabilize. 30 inches stabilize.
Alright, power's coming up. Flight engineer is controlling the power. Okay, we're going to rotate at
30 inches stabilized.
95 knots.
Cal flaps. Cal flaps set. Full power, please. Going full power.
Power's coming up. Looks like Kevin can't see me. That's fine. It's 53 inches.
Full power set.
We'll give him a second to go. It looks like he's taking off. Brakes released. Kevin, did you manage to see everybody, or are you going to try that relogging in later? $80 knots, 90 knots, 100 knots, rotate. Alright, going to pitch for 120. Gears coming up. Oh, I see Wayne's here.
Gear up, lights out.
Hey, 125. Ease the nose forward. 130. Flaps will come up.
Flaps up. Flaps going up.
Thousand feet. We're going to make a left-hand turn heading of 285. You can see we're 29 miles away from the next
Power, 48 inches, 2600 RPM.
VOR. About a 15-degree bank. Climb power coming back. Maybe a relog with a reboot might be needed.
Meter power set. Climb power. Setting climb power.
Switching over to climb power. 3,500 feet. Alright, so we're roughly on heading.
Climb power set.
Auto gyro on. Clutch engaged.
After takeoff checks complete.
Localizer mode engaged. We're going to head for the radial. And I'm going to start a little bit of a pitch down to get our speed up to 165. It's 5,000 feet. A little bit of sunshine. Still climbing a little bit too steeply. Speedo is in 5-knot increments, which makes it really nice to be able to judge things. So there's 165 knots. Looks like we're breaking through the clouds. Very nice. So we're heading on a slight angle to our course. We're going to go for the intercept of the radial. You can see it slowly coming in. Make a bit of a right turn to line up on it when we get there. Speed's a little high, so we'll come back a notch. we're headed for 12,000 feet on this leg. Yeah, not much to see outside. Pretty dark wall of clouds over that way. And it's just pretty overcast below us. Looks like everybody's up. I did see Nick there. Not sure where he is. But our escort's on the way. And there's the heavily pixelated clouds we're breaking through. Ugh. Doesn't look good at all. We're turning onto the radial. Looks like today the clouds are not playing nice with us. "8,000 feet, speed's a little high. So we'll give it 2 notches of back trim. See if we can get the speed to come down. We get a couple more. Nick's having issues. Oh, I see, yeah, I see mackerel, I see dark. Got Wayne over here in the Spitfire. See the thunderstorm, thunderheads. Definitely not the weather forecast.
Portable electronic devices. This is also a reminder to use your seatbelt fasten throughout the duration of the flight. Do not form a line near the left door.
Coming up for 10,000, we better tune in our pressurization. Forgot anything over 8,000, you should really do that. So we'll dial in 12,000 feet. There we go. Miles out from the VOR. We're almost at our cruise altitude. $1,000 to go. Start coming forward now, 500 feet. Give it a few notches forward. "400 feet, a few notches forward. Slowly easing that climb rate back. So we're just a couple hundred feet per minute when we get there, and it makes it easier for the gyro pilot to engage altitude hold without any major deviations. And 1,200 feet. There we go. Speed's now coming up. Since we're in level flight, there's 190 knots. So cruise checks, please.
Set cruise power, please. Setting cruise power.
Props are coming back. full pressure's coming back.
Cruise power is set.
Six miles out. Gonna go over to gyro pilot mode. Our next heading
Cruise checks are complete.
is 6 degrees. So we're gonna dial in 6 degrees. Which is about there. Gonna switch the radio over to the next VOR, which is 116.2. 115.15 will be the next one after that. See, we're 50 miles away from the next VOR, but it's almost off to our dead right. So once this comes into the first notch up outside of the ring, we'll go back into localizer mode and we'll follow that radio up to the next VOR. And we're above the weather for the most part now. Oh, there's Nick. Okay, Kevin, sorry to hear that. I can see dark down there. I think Wayne's over to my left. And I think Nick is taking off again from the airport. Looks like the sim is giving problems today. There we are. Radios come in, so over to localizer mode. Then we're now gonna turn on to the heading, and I'm gonna move the chat box down from where I moved it from Sunday's stream. Get it back where it should be. There we go. So we kind of overshot a little bit because I was a little delayed on getting it, but we'll swing back over and pick up the radial again. We'll steer slightly through it and then adjust. There we go. This route's going to take us to the west of Cologne, or Colm as it's called, and then up to Dusseldorf, and then we make a left turn out to Weeze. Slightly turning to catch the VOR. So Wednesday we have a special live stream coming up. It is a tour of Hawaii. Let's throw the information up in the chat for the schedule. We're going to visit all 5 islands. So we'll be flying twins, little twin engines like the Baron, or I'm going to be flying the Piper Seminole. So it's a good chance to practice your twins. We're going to be going, it's going to take a couple hours, but we're going to hit all 5 islands, do landings and takeoffs on every island, and just have a good time in Hawaii. We've got some condensation building up on our windows. Temperature is showing below 0, so let's get a better angle. Get our window defroster on. See it here on the window. Not seeing anything on the control surfaces yet. We'll we'll have to watch. So in a minute we should make a slightly more slight left turn to pick up the VOR. See, we're starting to do it now. So we head up for the next one. So the one after Dusseldorf is the NDB. So what we're going to have to do for that one is we're basically going to shoot a heading off of about 319 degrees once we hit the Dusseldorf VOR, and we're going to watch for what we need there. So our descent, again, you need 5 miles per 1,000 feet. The platform altitude we're going to be wanting when we get to Weeze is 3,000 feet, so that's 9,000 feet we have to leave. So 5 miles per 1,000 feet. So 9,000 feet, 9 times 5 is 45. So we're going to need 45 miles plus 30 for the slowdown. Is going to be 75 miles. So if I look at my routing information, so we're 28 miles to the airport from the Dusseldorf, or 29 miles from the Dusseldorf VOR. And we're 28 miles from the next VOR to the Dusseldorf VOR. So that's 57 miles. Alright, so when we're 18 miles out from the VOR, we're going to need to descend. And right now we are 29 miles out. So we're actually starting our descent in 10 miles. Scott, good to see you. Do join in Wednesday. It's going to be a good one. I'll put the link in the description and everything up on the YouTube main page with the scheduled stream when this flight's over with. But it should be a good one. But thanks for dropping in and saying hi. It's also getting dark up here with all these clouds, so we're going to go in and we're going to throw on the white lights. As you keep us going here. And we're going to be descending through these clouds, so we're going to have to put on the anti-ice when we get there. Seven and a half miles to go, and we'll be starting our descent. Got Nick. I'm not sure what's going on with him, how he's doing. Dark is up. See Wayne behind us. Wayne, are you seeing me yet? You're pretty much directly behind. Got a feeling he sees us because he's coming right for us. Just a couple miles out from the descent, and we're going to turn on the anti-ice. Let's see if we come down here. Our outside air temperature, we're about -8 degrees, so that's definitely icing territory. And you can hear the flight engineer playing with the carb heat. Okay. Wayne does see me, which is nice. There he is. So we're about to head into the clouds. Yeah, time for the anti-ice, so we'll get the prop de-icers on and the airfoil heaters on. See the speed coming back. We're 18 miles out. So we're going to disconnect the hold. You see all the carb anti-ices come on. I'm going to start down. We want 1,000 feet per minute. And we're going to have to watch that. It's a little steep there. Bring it back. And it's going to pick up as we descend and our airspeed gets a little bit faster. Which is why we build in that 30 nautical mile fudge factor. So our next heading is 10 degrees, so it's not too big of a shift from the one we're on right now. That takes us up to Dusseldorf. So the ice is cleared off the windows. At 10,000 feet, we'll do our descent checks. Just watching the descent angle. Trying to keep as close to 1,000 feet per minute as we can. As we go in and out of the cloud tops here. Airspeed's about 235. There we go. Oop. Sorry, Roger. Oh, there's Wayne. It's pulled in front of us. And we can do our descent checks.
26 inches, please. Setting 26 inches.
Get bounced around a little bit with the turbulence.
26 inches set. Descent checklist, please. Altimeters and flight instruments cross-checked. Seatbelt signs on. On. Engine blowers low. Low. Descent checks are complete.
Alright, descent checks are complete. We are 6 miles out, so we're going to go over to gyro mode. We'll put in the next VOR. And the next one after that is going to be our ILS frequency of 110.7. So we'll dial that in here on our standby. 110.7. So that's ready to switch over when we get down there. We're going to dial this over to 10 degrees, and we can see we're 31 miles away from Dusseldorf at the moment, and we're slowly descending. And we're getting bounced around in the clouds. Going to go back to a localizer mode, and we'll get onto that radial heading up to Dusseldorf. Get a little bit of moisture on the windows. But we don't seem to be icing, which is good.
We have begun our final descent to your destination. Flight attendants will be passing through the cabin to select extract one final time. Please ensure tray tables are stowed and are in the full upright position.
See, we're bouncing around a bit.
Carry on items either in the seat back pocket or under the seat cushion.
The passengers are getting some nice view of the clouds out the window. Not seeing much else though. So the heading we're going to want to be going on to the VOR is 319. So we're going to dial that in. It's going to be right about there. So the needle should point us off to that, and that's the heading we want, heading towards the airport. – 7,000 feet, some more cloud. Yeah, not a lot to see outside. Popping in and out of the cloud here. Now the weather at our destination airport, according to the actual METAR, is very low winds and basically clear skies. So not sure where all this is coming from, but welcome to the sim. Alright, I'm gonna kick it down a little bit, get that 1,000 feet back. 3,000 feet to go. Terrain is fairly flat in this area, so not too worried about hills or anything. And when we do land, we are going to be exiting to the left. $17 miles, whoa, 17 miles out from Dusseldorf. – 2,000 feet before we have to level out. Speed's down to 200 knots. Again with the lighting glitches on the panel. If I turn off the lighting there, you can see it all disappears. So looks like we're still having lighting issues with the coating. It's 4,500 feet. Outside air temperature is above 0. Let's turn that 10 to 0. Let's turn down the heat on the windshield. 1,000 feet to go. 12.5 miles out from Dusseldorf. In 500 feet we will notch back. Start arresting our descent rate. There we we go. A couple clicks back. Pull that up to about 500 feet per minute. It's 400. Oh, we're coming out of the clouds. 200. We're going to come back a little bit more. 100 feet. Back a little bit more. 300 or 3,000 feet coming up. Back a little bit more, and altitude hold. We're going to lock in at 3,000 feet. We're going to start slowing down even more. So we're 6.5 miles out from Dusseldorf. Again, we're down a little early, but we do got to get slowed down. I'd rather fly level at a lower altitude for a little bit than try to lose a bunch of it in this thing when you really can't slow her down. There's Wayne off to my left. Dark should be behind me. 4.5 miles out from the VOR. We're flying, there's Dusseldorf there. There's Dark Fury. Miles out, so we're going to go over to gyropilot mode. Two and a half miles out. 2 nautical miles. We're going to start our turn. We're going to head over about 319 degrees. 319. Give us a nice 20-degree bank here. And there. So we're now heading towards the airport at Weeze. We're going to switch over to the ILS VOR, our ILS frequency 110.7. And I'm going to tune 115.15 in on VOR 2. Like so, and then I'm going to switch at the moment. I'm going to switch that over. That's going to give me the distance back to the Dusseldorf VOR, and I know it's 29 miles to the LAA NDB, which is where we're headed. So that will give me a rough estimate of my position out from where we're going. And we're at the altitude we want to be when we come in and intercept at the airfield. Alright, so everything's good, although we're still in and out of the clouds, so we're going to leave the anti-air on. Oh, I see a mighty mackerel. Not sure where he's come out of, but he's on the ground somewhere. He had a crash to desktop. Nick had a crash to desktop. It's not very good. Come on, Asobo. Get it together. Try getting those lights on again. Yeah, no, that's going to annoy the hell out of me. So lights off. At AFE, we're now down in level. You can do the in-range checks, please.
Normal. Fuel booster pumps. On low. Fuel tank selectors. Mains on, crossfeed off. Hydraulic bypass valve. Down. No smoking signs. On. In-range checks complete.
Alright, speed is at 183. Alright, we're 11 miles. That gives us 18 miles out to the airport. See little breaks down below. We are flying through the base of the clouds. Alright, so nav 1 is picking up the ILS. We've got the beacon as well. So we want 315 is our heading. Just do a slight little variance over. Pick up the NDB. There we go. Just barely make out ground going by outside. Speed's down to 175. Dirk's still behind us here. Just make out those little patches of terrain going by. And we still got the little terrain or texture glitch around the cockpit. Still not sure what causes that. For some reason I didn't straighten up when I hit the button, so I've gone and turned off. So let's turn back towards the beacon. Channel 10-degree bank there, and we're there. So right into the beacon, which is at the end of the runway. get there, we're going to turn 073. I've got light out. Sure that won't last. So when we hit the beacon, we're going to do a right-hand teardrop. That'll take us on a heading of 073 for approximately 11 miles. And then we're going to loop around on a right-hand turn to intercept the ILS on a heading of 272. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to dial in the 272 there. Just so I know. And we're about 4 miles out from the airport now. Can't really see much of anything out here. This is the published approach we're doing for the ILS. And we should intercept the ILS glide slope 9.6 miles out. So that's so good. So we're about 1.5 miles out from the airport. Beacon is just off on the east side of the airport. We're heading right over top. So when that comes horizontal, we'll begin our turn to 073. Alright. We're still on gyro pilot mode, which is good. So we're going to make our turn to 073. A 20-degree bank. Should go about 25-degree bank. Get this turn in. Ease off a little bit. 60 degrees. 70 there. And we're now heading out on our teardrop. So Fred, before landing checklist, please.
Flaps 20. Setting flaps 20.
Flaps 20, we're going to induce a lot of drag. We're going to start slowing down even more. We go up to our chart. We're going to approach at 125.
20 flaps set.
And we're going to land at 195.
Auto ridge. Mixture set. Gear up and down, please. Gear up and down.
Gears coming down. Gears locked.
Gear down and locked. 3 greens. Props. 2400 RPM. 2400 RPM set. Cow flaps. Plus 3 degrees. Cow flaps set. ADI. ADI off. ADI is off. Barely lights. Speed good, extending lights.
Speed's down to 130.
Copy. Carbine cold. Set cold.
Sight arc is coming in for landing. 4 landing checklist complete. I have the throttles. We're currently down to 125, which is where we're going to want to be. So I'm going to pull back on the power. I'm going to hold at about 110 BMEP. I don't know why engine 4 is so out of whack. Come on, engine 4. There we go. I'll hold about 130 at the moment. See, we're off to the left of the localizer right now, which is right. We're flying away. So the aircraft is off to the left. And we are currently above the glide slope. We're about 127 knots, which is right where I want to be. Bringing the power up 110 on all engines. Derek, what do you mean 195? Landing speed was 95 at my weight load. 125, we're hanging in on the approach speed. Still a little bit bumpy through the clouds. Getting no distance to the airport, but I know roughly where I am. Speed's getting a little low, so we'll go up to 120 on the power. Just monitoring all 4 engines. There we go. Glide slope's coming up. I do want to make sure we're above the glide slope. Now, if I was doing this visually and using the ILS as an assist, there's a river out here. We want to make our loop before the river. I can see the river coming up. You're already down, Wayne? Very good. Well, typical of you fighter guys. So everything's good. So we're going to now turn to southerly heading. Kick it over to again about 20 degrees, 25 degrees will do. Oh, he did a grass landing? Really? Wow. Our southerly heading. There's the river that I mentioned there. Alright, we're still at 3,000 feet. Everything is looking good. We got flaps are at 20, landing gear is down, cabin crew are ready. As soon as I start to see movement, localizer will come on. slight right turn, just slowly start wheeling it around. You can see the arrow coming in there. There we go, and we're in approach mode. No, just you're supposed to. God damn it. That's it. Blow right through it. I'm sure it'll get us back on it. So altitude is holding, speed is holding. Not sure why it kicked off on me there like that. We're going to come in for the intercept. We're going to hit the glide slope first. There we go with the glide slope. Flaps 30. Flaps 40. Power coming back. We're going to hold about 125 on the approach. See if we get a little bit better than when we came into to Hahn the other, or not was it Hahn, was it Leipzig where we had the, or yeah, Hahn had the offset threshold. Caught me up off my guard. We're lining up on the ILS. We're about 117 knots. Airport is not in sight. Now, airport elevation is 106 feet, so at 600 feet I'm going to take over from the autopilot, and we'll go full flaps at about 1,000. So we're 1,800 feet. Speed is slightly slow, but we're okay. We're well above our landing speed. Outer marker. We're crab. We got a wind here. See us crabbing slightly here. Oh, there we go. A little bit better. Just 300. Feet, flaps full. She's doing a good job at keeping us coming in. $800 feet. 700. It's 500 above. Autopilot off. Keep the crab. Bring the power back. Power is back to 60, 110 knots. Ooh. 105, 100 knots. $95. Kick the rudder. We're down. It's 80 knots. Prop reversers are off. We're going to taxi down to the end here. And we'll exit a Bravo and taxi back to the ramp. Well, at least the weather's improved right here at the airport. It wasn't always looking this good as we were coming in. The taxiway. Definitely, you can see the wind on the sock there. We definitely had a crosswind. Come around the corner and we'll do our cleanup. And we'll head for the ramp. Park up beside Dark Fury there. Alright, Fred, do our after landing checklist, please.
After landing checks complete.
I figured with all the cloud we had, we'd get some rain, but looks like we weren't, or didn't. Turn off the anti-icing. And while I'm at it, you can go back to off. Looks like a catering truck is heading out towards Dark Fury. Alrighty, so let's get her to the ground. grab the next spot. Make sure we get our nose wheel on the line. There we go. Welcome to Weeze. Alright, Fred, shut her down.
Parking brake is set.
Oh, here's Wayne. Looks like he came out of the pub to meet us. Wheel chocks on, stairs coming out. And there we go. Oh, turned all these off again. Come on. It's not nice. Oh, you can hear that wind. So here we are in Weeze. Thank you very much for joining us on today's flight. Unfortunately, we lost a couple on the way. Not good. I hate when that happens, but well, hopefully we'll see you next week as we head away from here. So once again, thank you very much, everybody. Thanks for watching. Please consider subscribing if you haven't, hitting the like button, all that good stuff. And we will see you on the next live stream, which is Wednesday. And next Monday, of course, we do our next leg of our flying over Germany. So have a good one. We'll see you then. Bye for now.